back to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to some TNT NBA stuff. Usually, I really don't react to their stuff, but the time has presented himself. So they're going to talk about who is in this MVP race. I do think that this is one of the deepest MVP races that we have seen in quite a long time. I mean, you got Luka, Giannis, Jason Tatum, um, KD, Kyrie, and I'm still leaving off maybe two or three names. Jokic, uh, even James Harden. He's playing quite well. So let's go ahead and see what they got to say.
All right, let's see if you can break down the Dallas Mavericks for me, Chuck, and keep it nice for the children. Okay, you can't do it. Okay.
No,
Kenny,
I'm just like,
okay.
no, Ernie, you actually, when you said what you said, it's like they haven't really played anybody.
Yeah.
You know, they
3 of those wins against Houston in a 7-game winning streak.
And I said, so where are they in the pecking order in the West? Are they better than the Nuggets? No. Are they better? Well, the Zion Wisdom thing is the big caveat.
Yep.
I don't think they beat the Grizzlies. I don't think they beat.
So just to stop it real quick, I do think that this West is very, very deep. Just think about it. Like the champions, they are 9 and they're 20 and 19. Same thing as the Suns. Trailblazers 19 and 18. Clippers 21 and 18. And the Kings are 20 and 17. So they're really in, if you really think about it, 4 or 5 games just between number 1 and number 10 damn near. So it's honestly a pretty close fight for who's going to be in the playoffs and who's going to be in the play-ins. So my thing is, I'm actually wondering what will happen after this All-Star break, because that is pretty much when the great players start playing even better, and then those people who tend to not be as good, that they sort of get tired from more like fatigue or something of that nature. It definitely does remind me of last year with the Bulls, how they were first in like the East, but then after the All-Star break, you started really noticing who is a good team and who isn't. Now the Mavs definitely had some easy games, but you really can't take that away from what Luka and this team has been doing. Now, I'm wondering if there's a chance for the Jazz to push for a 6 spot, because these two teams I think are wild cards, and let me tell you why. So the Kings, I have no confidence in the Kings at all. I think that they're going to show their true colors. Sabonis has been playing great. So has Darian Fox. But I also don't think that they can keep this all the way through the rest of like the year. Now the Clippers, they have a injury problem and a consistency problem. They are a great and have always been a great regular season team. Then once it gets to a playoffs, they maybe make one good push, and then after that they just fall apart. So I'm wondering if they can stay above water and like continue to play how they have been. And I do think that the Nuggets, they're gonna drop. Grizzlies, I think that they're gonna drop 2 spots. I don't think that the Pelicans can keep up with their push as well. I do see them dropping to about the 4 or 5 spot, and I do see like the Warriors jumping into this 6th or 5th spot because they don't even have Steph Curry. Now, so let's go ahead and just continue.
Beat the Clippers. My Suns are in trouble from a mental standpoint. That team is fractured, and I don't know if they're going to put it back together. But Denver, the Grizzlies, a healthy Zion, and the Clippers, I don't think they're better than any of those teams.
But Luka, in your mind, ranks where?
Oh, he's the MVP. Right now, a month ago, I had Jason Tatum. Well, the first probably month, it was Luka. Then I started sliding toward Jason. I'm back to Luka and Giannis right now. But what he's doing, man, when listen, I was a hell of a player. I don't think I ever averaged 44 points in a 6-game span. Like that, and you factor in he's close to triple doubles in the other categories. I mean, Shaq is one of the best big men to ever play the game. Like, to score 44 points and to average that's incredible.
You saw him play down there on December 23rd with the 50.
He's a fabulous player, and Chuck just mentioned some teams that he don't think they can beat. If he's playing at this level, if he can get 1 or 2 guys on the team to play at a high level, they have a chance. If he's out there,
and that's the problem. I think that the rest of the Mavs team is very iffy. Spencer Dinwiddie, he's known to take 2 or 3 games off and then start hooping. Same thing with Tim Hardaway Jr. He is known to take some games off and then start hooping later. I just think if they get some more consistency, then they would be a whole lot better as a unit. As well as this sort of like reminds me of the James Harden situation, having crazy stat lines, but then once it gets down to it, they can't like perform because he's taking high volume shots. The ball needs to go through his hands, and sometimes that causes like the rest of like your teammates to be cold and not really show up. So I'm wondering how this play will translate. I do think that Luka, I don't want to say he's playing better than what James Harden was doing, but he's playing much more efficiently as far as trying to, he's not shooting a high volume of shots. He's getting good shots. He plays more slow-like. Again, and I've been saying this, he does like remind me of a James Harden, Paul Pierce mix, because Paul Pierce mastered that old man slow, holding like the pace type of basketball, because Paul Pierce will never blow by you with his speed. He will lull you to death or hit you just with something that is just max skillful, and he'll kill you that way. But I think what Luka does better than them both is his passing ability as well as his court vision. I think that James Harden had a great court vision, but I think Luka knows how to make that pass a bit better than James Harden. Now, I still think that James Harden is a much better ISO player, but all encompassing this year, I do think that Luka has like that edge. Defensively, I think that the Mavs do have issues or stuff that they need to clean up. But other than that, I'm surprised, but I am really wondering how this team will translate.
they're trying to do it by itself. I agree with Chuck, they don't have a chance. But look, he's playing great. He's moving the ball. He's scoring at will. He has that dog in him. That's the type of guy you want. They're in 4th place, so if playoffs started today, they would have home court advantage, and they're very, very tough to beat in that arena. I like the way he's playing. I agree with Chuck. He's definitely in the MVP talk. Speaking of the MVP question, with the records close like this, and I know you guys like to give it to whoever has the best record, with him being 3rd, if the voting stopped today, would you give it to him? With 2 games behind Denver,
I would give it to Luka. If I first of all, I don't have a vote, but if I had to vote today, I would vote Luka MVP.
We got to wait for a while
I
on that, obviously.
I think it's still up for debate. I think also, you said it earlier, you're like, if you started today, you wouldn't know who would win the NBA championship. I don't see a big difference between Denver, Memphis, New Orleans, Dallas. I don't see that big difference. I don't see that, they've been going to be consistently better than the Dallas Mavericks. So no, I think they can win the West. They have an opportunity. They have a great player, just like Jokic is in Denver, just like, Ja Morant is in Memphis, and so on and so forth. I think they have figured out how to
have a better balance. And I just wanted to see, that's why I asked that question, a better balance of how to get everyone else a little bit more involved, even when he's getting 50.
Yeah.
You know, there's still guys. There was, even on the night he had 60, multiple guys in double figures. And so that, to me, separates them. The only team that is in the top 8 that would have to prove themselves is the Sacramento Kings, because they've never been in the playoffs in the last 15, 20 years. But everyone else, you know, they're right there. As bad as fractured as Phoenix to say, well, we've been there, we could get it back going. Golden State could say the same thing. I don't think there's a big disparity in the Western Conference.
One of the numbers, and we talked about this before on Luka, leading the league in unassisted field goals. And you look at the numbers, he's made 404 baskets this season. You know how many are unassisted? He's made 404 shots.
Over 300.
358. That's nearly 90% of his field goals are unassisted. Are you good with that?
No. He to be a great player, and he's a great player, to be up there, you have to learn to play without the ball. That's the key to making guys around you better. You have to learn to play without the ball.
I think that's an unfair stat right now. Only because we don't have a comparison of what it is for Giannis. We don't have a compare what it is for Jokic. And then you say, okay.
Well, second on the list in unassisted field goals is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I don't think it's fair to really compare Luka's style of play with Jokic and Giannis. Giannis he's one of those players that isn't going to kill you from 3. He is a go to the basket, garbage buckets, coast to coast. He'll hit some free throws. He's that type of player. And he's also very locked in on defense. I think that's something that isn't really talked about enough. Defensively, I think he's much better than the other two by quite a bit. Now I will say, Jokic and Luka somewhat have the same style of that slow, methodical play, somewhat pass first type of style. More so with Jokic, but you see somewhat of almost like the similarities. So I don't think it's fair to really compare the 3, because it's 3 almost different styles of play. Jokic is a slow big man, but still has footwork, still can shoot the 3, still has great passing ability. Giannis, he's a big guy, but he's more of an athletic, coast to coast offense and defense. Luka, he is a slow ISO player, but also has the court vision to get his team somewhat somewhat involved. But it's really hard to say as far as comparing those 3, in my opinion.
And he's got 280.
What that stat tells me is that he can get a bucket anytime, anywhere. And, you know, to add on to being a great player, once this gets out that he can score anytime, well, it's already out. He's going to have to turn that around, especially when the double comes. You have to get everybody else involved. Like Kenny said, him scoring 50, this guy going to get 15, another guy going to get 18. So, but Ernie, that stat right there means I don't need no help. Give me the ball and just move out.
Yeah, but you're not going to win the championship like that. Because I think when you're a great player, you have to say to yourself sometime, like you just said, I can score anytime I want to or get a shot anytime I want to. You have to develop the mentality like, my job is to help this other dude get going.
No, but that's not the stat. The stat is no one's helping him get a basket.
Because
he's still, you know what I mean?
Because he always has the ball.
So I think that he has the balance in this, because obviously I watched the Rockets because of being a former Rocket. Watch those 3 games. He's actually balancing giving guys the ball. He just doesn't get an easy shot in their offense someone else creating, and that was what Brunson was able to do last year. There is no Brunson, so he ISOs. They wait for the double team. You stupid enough to let him play one-on-one, he kills you. You come in double, he passes it now.
Giannis, 59% of his field goals made are unassisted. KD, you say 54%, 53, and
90 is a lot.
yeah, 90 is a lot.
I think I could play with Luka now and give him 3 baskets.
But yes, that's pretty much everything, guys. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I got Luka right now as the front runner of the MVP race. His team needs to produce better. They need to be more consistent. They really need to get more involved. But I also do believe that Luka does need to find a way to get Tim Hardaway Jr. going, as well as Spencer Dinwiddie going as well, so they can be a all-around successful team. But that's everything. I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace.